Well, out on the trail, of course, is Bill Clinton all over the country, and our intrepid Jonathan Karl went out to the state of Illinois to do a story on that race, and somehow, some way, he wrangled the former president into talking. Take a look at what they said.
Look, it's what happened to me in '94. When you get in and you want to do things, there's almost an inverse relationship in how much you accomplish and what people know about it. Because you're a long way from home, and there's a lot of filters and intermediaries. But we're getting there. The president's getting out and around, and I see a lot more intensity at these rallies now in the last 3 weeks. So I think it'd be a great mistake to count us out. Reports of our demise have been exaggerated.
Shocking that Bill Clinton's take on the election has something to do with Bill Clinton.
That's a good way of putting it. Bringing it back to his time in office, of course, but optimistic too. But he has to be. You have to have him out there being optimistic about their chances at this point, because otherwise nobody's going to come out. And now we're joined by Matt Cooper, managing editor of National Journal, which just launched their big relaunch this week. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Karen.
The new National Journal.
New National Journal. So let's start with what will probably be the appearance of the day, perhaps the appearance of the week. President Obama on The Daily Show today. First time a sitting president goes on. What is he doing? Why is he doing this?
Well, it's pretty clear he wants to reach young voters. You know, I mean, when you have a president who's pretty unpopular and isn't above 50% with many groups, young people's one of the few groups where he is over 50%. And so this is a great way to reach them in the final days of the campaign. And you know, to wax a little confident, a little cocky in a way that you probably couldn't if you're just going out and doing a standard speech.
What's this rally going to mean? I mean, liberals are very excited about it. A lot of folks coming in from around the country to be there for Stewart and Colbert.
Right.
Should Democrats be embracing this? Do you think this is unabashedly a great thing for them to watch happen?
I don't think we know yet. You know, I think the way the Glenn Beck rally turned out to be not what people thought it would be. People thought it'd be a lot of red meat about politics, and it turned out to be more religious in context and more subdued in tone. You know, I don't think people know quite what this will be, how much of it will be shtick, how much serious, whether it's going to motivate Democrats or offend people who aren't. So, you know, I think we got to let it and see how it plays out. So he's, I think, certainly wiser to go to the studio than to go down the mall.
He's actually getting out of town this weekend, too, so he's not even around for any of it. Just give us a sense, your outlook, 6 days out, how things are looking for Democrats right now. You're seeing some predictions of up to 60 seats in the House, some on the lower scale of 45. What's your take right now?
Well, I guess my take isn't that far from the conventional wisdom, which is I think those states that are naturally Democratic in their DNA are kind of coming home. So that's why the Patty Murray and the Barbara Boxer gains in the West Coast Senate races have increased. I think Connecticut looks better for Democrats. Other places I think look better as Democrats naturally come home. But you know, I think as everyone has said, those House seats look very vulnerable across the country. And I guess the question to me has always been: are people going to blame incumbents or more recent incumbents? Are people going to draw a distinction between somebody who's been in Washington 2 years and somebody who's been there 20 years? Are you going to take it out on the guy who just got there in 2006? And that's the thing I'm going to wonder.
That's an interesting point, because that's the difference between just a wave, like washing back out the gains they had before, and something huge when the Barney Franks and the John Dingles and the Jim Oberstar's, guys that have been there for decades, lose.
Right, exactly.
And your take on the Senate, though, is that things are firmed up a little bit for Democrats. That seems to be the conventional wisdom. The House, all but gone.
Yeah, but you know, there's always an outlier or two. You know, in 1994, Alfred North couldn't catch the Republican wave when he ran for the Senate in Virginia. You know, there's probably one Democrat who we think is totally safe, who we're suddenly going to, you know, be watching all election night as they struggle to hang on. So there's always outliers.
2 questions then. Who's that Democrat that you think we're going to be looking at election night? And then what is the race that you think we're still trying to get a result from Thursday or Friday?
That's a good one. Well, I guess Colorado looks awfully close. You know, I think that one could go late. And you know, as far as safe Democrats who might suddenly find themselves in trouble, that's a little hard to say. I would say somebody like Mikulski, who's I think almost certainly going to win, but I don't think is going to win by the 30 points that people thought originally.
Right, and what we're going to be waiting on? Alaska.
Man,
that could be a long time.
Yes, absolutely.
Book your ticket to Anchorage. This is going to be
well, and book your lawyer, because there's one race that's going to court the next morning.
Yeah, and there aren't that many lawyers up there either. We've seen them all in the Palin campaign. I'm pretty sure. Matt Cooper from the new National Journal. Check out their new website, nationaljournal.com. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Want to highlight a brand new version of the ABC News iPad application. I'm a big fan of the iPad. I'm a big fan of this application. Look at what you can do here. You can just spin around and choose your scenario. You talked about Senate. What if that goes R? You can track the numbers. We're going to have this live right now and up through the election. It is going to be a really fun tool to play with, and we're going to be using it on election night. So download it. It's the new ABC News iPad app, and it is a lot of fun. You can change colors. I love colors. I'm a big fan of that. And by the way, I'm not making predictions here. I'm just pressing buttons.
Fun
just
for the whole family. Get everybody involved.
Exactly. That does it for this edition of Top Line. For Karen Travers, I'm Rick Klein. Click on us again tomorrow.